Call it to order. Motion to approve the minutes. Second. All in favor? Okay. All opposed? All right. I will just jump into the president remarks. I met with
Oh, you can't stay, we started already.
Just started.
okay, I met with Coastline Design today and representative from Maryland
Mike's
MDE.
coming too. Mike's coming. Oh.
Okay. Snooze you lose.
I am the one who's gonna have to mow the lawn, right?
No, I was gonna ask you, I have to watch. Watch.
Should I shut it or is there?
I think Mandy's out of town, I'm not sure, but I think she's out of town.
Yeah, I think she said something about that.
Okay, anyway, so I met with MDE and Coastline Design today at the beach. MDE was a guy I thought was going to be Mel, what was it, Brockmeyer or whatever, something like that. Well, Mel turned out to be a little 5 foot tall, young lady. Anyway.
But it sounds like this on the phone.
Yeah. She's pretty new to the whole process, so she wanted to come see what we were talking about. She had all the drawings, she'd seen all that kind of stuff. But she's involved in the joint permitting process. So,
What's her
indeed,
name?
Mel
Rockmeyer?
Rockmeyer, I think.
Rock, B isn't like B.
Rock.
Rock.
With a T.
Rock.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, Throckmorton. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Throckmorton.
Throckmorton.
Okay.
Mel. Anyway, so
I
Mel,
think those rocks.
so we showed her around. I explained the background of it. Showed her the layout we're talking about. Told her where the beach or the club was and all that kind of stuff. And she seemed to be favorably impressed with what we're trying to do and what she sees there, and the fact that it's a good candidate for shoreline restoration and keeping. But the fact that it's a shallow piece of water. So anyway, I hope that was all good, and they went over all that. And as a present, Scott from Coastline Design gave me the full size package. So if you ever want to see in more detail what we're talking about,
Yeah.
Great. It's here. So this describes basically the same plan that we've had in small PDF version, and this is more of a large drawing. So it shows the spur, where it's placed, the dimensions of the spur, all the engineering details.
These are nicely done. Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's a full engineering set of drawings to support all this, so. And she'd heard good things about Coastline Design from other people there in the department, so hopefully it will continue to go. They're still in the joint permitting process. She's been trying to get a hold of the Corps. I showed her how we've gotten in touch with the Corps. They told us they had our package, but we haven't heard any judgment or anything from them. So waiting on Corps of Engineers, DNR, and they're all wrapped around themselves about whether we have any extinct salamanders you might get. I'm
Yeah.
They're being DNR. So, all that stuff is going
Now
on
you want to tell them, they're up the road a little bit.
with the tiger beetles.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in the branch club. So anyway, I think it's moving slowly, but it's moving. I haven't heard anything from the people at the state on the grant. I need to bug them, but they have told me they hoped May, maybe June, but probably July. So
We're getting it.
I was about to say, you think this process is slow. Wait.
okay, really, that's about all I have. One thing on that. there was some issue about, because Coastline Design had attempted to notify Edinger and the club.
Mhm.
And apparently they're not sure whether they got the information. So would you please send Scott the correct mailing
Oh, yeah.
addresses for the club and Brooke Edinger?
Okay.
Because I know the address she had written down for the club was an Overlook address, and they probably don't.
Oh,
get
no,
that.
it's a P.O. box.
It's a P.O. box.
Oh,
Edinger might be the same way since he's only down here part-time.
I think you might.
yeah.
So
that
they
might
had
be
his,
Mhm.
Beach Drive address. So
Right.
they're going on physical addresses, and I explained to her, that didn't work with,
Yeah.
dealing with the post office. So
Right.
please send that to them and keep,
Okay.
keep monitoring it.
I can do that.
Okay. That's all I have.
Was that the president's remarks, or was that the call to order?
It's actually the planning committee.
Yeah,
Rolled up in-
what I'm really worried about is you guys approved the minutes without me here, didn't you?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, but we had.
Okay.
We had quorum.
We had majority.
I know, I have quorum.
Unanimous.
Get here on time.
Unanimous, so we're gonna
I
make.
saw the writing on the wall.
And I pointed out that there was that really
Jeff.
offensive comment.
I in writing now.
We also voted you in charge of about 4 or 5 other committees, so.
Yeah.
They're really quick, you have to go.
That's right. Okay, that's all I have. Office up.
Office update. First one, I'm thinking of, can you sign that, it's a reimbursement. for
I
Cindy.
know it's for Cindy, I'm not.
I'm not giving her anything.
You gotta see the supply of buckets we have back there. Can I trust you? All right. Okay, first thing, Drum Point Day is July 2nd, and Bruce Fall came in today, and I don't know if he's president of the club, but he heads up the events at the
Yeah,
Drum Point
Mary
Club.
Ann's president.
Yeah, I'm
Mary
Mary.
Ann's president.
I'm Mary.
Mary's vice president.
But Bruce said that the club is thinking more toward a bit of an abbreviated picnic time, which works for me. Maybe only from 4 until 5. He's having a little difficulty getting volunteers, because as always, it is the same people every single year, just like every organization, that steps up and does the work. So he thought, if the club and if we could provide 5 volunteers, then with only an hour of food, it would be like we usually grill. If you're able to come and help out, it would be like a half-hour grill time for each of the people doing that, and a half-hour serving time, for each of whoever's going to do that. I'm not singling 3 out, but you guys are the ones that have in the past. But
Yeah.
anybody that can have anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything you can do. Even if you want to come at the end and
That's a
help clean
Saturday.
up.
It's a Saturday. Yeah.
It's July
Who do
2nd.
who do we volunteer to?
Let me know.
No. Okay.
Off with his
So
head.
July 2, and I volunteered?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Before you got here, all this
That's right, you guys voted on that
All
too,
day.
didn't you?
All day
day.
long.
Okay.
Okay.
What time does it start?
Well, that's what, they were
Oh, that's
supposed to
right.
meet tonight, but
Oh,
they
you
had to
said that.
cancel that, so they're going to meet, I don't know, later, and he's going to touch base with me on Monday.
But the foods thing will be between 4 and 5. That's
Yes,
the thing.
should end by 5, and then, yeah, so
Are
that's.
they having it catered again, or is that what we're all doing?
No, they're talking about maybe just hot dogs and hamburgers,
Uh-huh.
and hold the brats for Oktoberfest,
Oh,
which is sort of an Oktoberfesty
And
thing to
do
do.
they want people to have potluck things, or we're still not doing that?
The side dishes?
Yeah.
No, we're not, I don't think we're having people bring side
Yeah,
dishes.
okay.
It's not that big of a deal for us, we always
Yeah.
buy the food and they buy the sodas and everything.
Okay.
So they'll decide, and we have some stuff in the freezer. I've got 2 big packages of hot dogs and a case of brats from, previous, so. And I've got baked beans. So, yeah, anyway.
Okay.
But I'll keep you posted on Monday when I find out. I drafted the letter to Amber Bryant, Picket Law, the one that we should have been and will be including with any statements I send out that have that claim form in it. Just to explain that this has not been done yet, but that if you don't pay, it will be done. So Mike, you had suggested I sent her a draft of what I would say. It's pretty short and sweet, So did that. I have not heard yet. The full budget is on the website now. And I graciously put absentee ballots in each of your.
Yes, that was nice.
Yeah, I thought that was nice of me. I didn't give any to Mike or Jack because they already picked them up. Did you get envelopes though?
Yeah.
Because they have to be returned.
I just took a whole bunch.
Okay, good, good.
We have to have a separate envelope?
It doesn't have, well, it just has to be returned
Oh,
in an
that's all right.
envelope marked ballot. It doesn't
Okay.
have to be that. It's just that that one is marked ballot. I'll
Yeah.
get it.
Okay, I just have to be more.
And I've had it in the office for years. So they count toward quorum, which is why they're so important. And applied for the upgraded grading permit for, which is what allows us to work in the rights of way and the roads too.
Oh,
So that's just been renewed and is good for another 2 years. That's it.
okay, roads.
Roads. Yes. Just talked with Mike Toro, or actually I got a text from him today. Surf Street, the well rings are finished.
We saw that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen
I
that.
haven't gotten the invoice yet,
Yeah.
so
That's
I
good.
texted him.
Good, they're
Yeah.
Good,
I've
excellent.
walked on them, they're good.
Yeah, and the only problem, and it's not this particular problem, there are still, on Mindu's side where her fence is,
Mhm.
there's still these deep areas of erosion, so if kids are running, they could step in it, but I don't know what to do about that. And there's, everything else they can, but the last time I looked at it, there was big, even the tops of some of the wall rings were
Right.
crashed in, but it's all looking very
Oh,
good.
great, great, glad to hear
Well, you
that.
might
I
see-
saw on the other side, not on that side, but on the other side where we don't have, we used to have a public access, but now we don't have a public
Right.
access. The cones are set up, is that
Yeah, I
because of
think
the
Joe was-
erosion right there?
I got an email from a woman telling me that there's erosion there, which of course we already knew.
Right.
And I sent Michelle Ward a text again to find out how the permitting process is going. She's not responded, and she didn't respond to me last time either.
Where is this?
On the causeway, on the Bay Drive
Oh,
causeway.
okay.
You know, washed out.
Oh, you mean where the trees
Yeah.
are laying out?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, there's like a
Somebody
mimosa
else's
tree
property.
with the
Yeah.
ribs.
Yes.
So this woman was
Yeah.
concerned that, you know, somebody would try to walk over top of it and fall and get hurt. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, I had cones put out the other day. I think.
Yeah, I just noticed the cones, I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
I don't know how else to prompt wards to let me know what to.
So Missy's not returning your calls or?
I just sent one today, and then I sent one a few weeks ago, and I could be wrong. I don't think she responded, but I could be wrong. I have to check.
You said Michelle Ward?
It's not Ward, it's Hipple, I think it's,
Her name is
unless
Hipple.
they're married by
They're
now.
not married.
Okay, Michelle Hipple. It's James' partner
Okay.
in business, and
Significant other.
they're
Let's see.
partners.
Um,
So I'm sure she will respond, I mean,
Well, she usually does.
but she just hasn't yet.
But
so.
do you know which number you use?
It's a cell, I
Her
don't know,
cell
offhand.
number.
It's her cell number though. Text her.
Because I've actually got 2 mobile numbers for
Oh, you do?
her. Probably changed. And she
I
will
think this is
usually
the one I
answer,
have.
if she's around, she'll answer this phone
The
also.
176, yeah,
The
let me get
326
her.
number.
I've got that one too, Michelle. I think this is the one I always use, it looks real familiar.
I believe. I think the other one maybe Jamie.
It's,
It's a rebuilding year.
Again? Yeah, no, I know.
3492. Okay. Probably.
Okay.
All right, so I'll keep pursuing that. So cheap. We met with Chris Franklin, and Mike and I met with Sal. I think we knew this is from last time, but I finally heard from Chris today. I know, right? Because he hadn't been in touch with me after that meeting, because there's a list of 15 or so stormwater management issues and so on. And come to find out, Mike asked Jeff, called Jeff, and asked
Well, I
Jeff to
left him
call.
messages too,
Yeah,
to call, and he never did return my calls, so then I got to talk to Jeff.
right. And Jeff called him, and he finally returned Jeff's calls. Apparently he's been sick again, off and on. So Jeff called me Thursday to let me know that, but that Chris had told him that he should be able to be in Drum Point this past weekend. And he was, because because I texted him today and said, you know, I really need to hear from you. I have to have some information to tell people. And there's a meeting tonight, and so on. So he did respond to say that he's been working with a contractor on the stormwater management jobs, and as well as getting documents together that have to be submitted to soil conservation for permitting. That's over and above the right-of-way grading permit that we have. When it's in the critical area, you need a soil conservation approval, I guess. And he also spoke with some owners, which was good. That's what Jeff used to do, you know. I think it helps put people at ease. You know, he's the expert. He's the one that can tell them versus me trying to remember what he said it is. And he said he'll be working with the paving statement of work this weekend, because that's where I was getting concerned. I was hoping to have the stormwater management things in the works right now, maybe finished, because we're coming up against the paving contract for the year. But he said he will be working on that, so, you know. I stressed in my response, you know, hope you're fine and so on, but when you're not well, if you're sick, let me know. Just let me know. Yeah. So, you know, we'll see where it goes from there. And the only other thing I have, you know, last time we talked about rejuvenation and the 2 different products and so on. And Mike, you had me ask Jeff to give his input, Jeff McDonald, because he was working with us the last time we did rejuvenation, so he knows about it. And his gut reaction was that this new product is not going to, would not likely be as effective or as long lasting, just given that it's not the coal tar based product.
You know, that was my only question on that was, what's the cost comparison for that per mile versus
Right.
tar? And will it last 15 years until we get to that stretch again?
Well, none of it will last 15 years, but it's supposed to extend the life of your pavement by 5 or so years. It itself isn't going to make that pavement last another 15. It'll just extend the life by 5 or so years. So Jeff said if we want to do another rejuvenation, he would recommend we do it while the coal tar is still available, because they're apparently going to take it off the market, DPPOA or what have you. But he also said it's not the end of the world if we don't rejuvenate. You know, pavement lasts 15 to 20 years, and that's why we repave every single year. We repave a mile to a mile and a half, so that we're on this constant cycle of having everything done every 15 years.
So maybe life is simpler if we just do it,
Maybe so.
and cheaper.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, we wouldn't be spending money for that, and if we're paving, it's not.
Well, yeah,
It might be cheaper, I mean, we have to do a careful cost comparison.
Yeah.
right. But, so that's where Jeff is on that. And I sent him all the documents that Total Asphalt sent to us, so he could look through them.
From the other out.
Total Asphalt,
Yeah.
yeah. I sent him
So is
that.
he gonna
plus
get
stuff we
back
had
to
on
us
file.
with,
Doug McKenzie?
no, is
Oh.
Jeff gonna get back to us then after he looks at that?
No, he's already looked at it, and that's what he came up with,
Oh,
after looking at their documents
Okay.
and what I had on file with them so far.
And does he have any recommendations on who would do the rejuvenation with coal tar or whatever?
Well, you know, he didn't say, but I would assume we would stick with Total Asphalt if we decide to.
The what?
Total Asphalt, the company. That's who's done it in the past, wouldn't we
Oh.
just stay with them?
So his point was that if you want to do it soon, so you get coal tar
Yeah.
instead of this new substance. that-
Mhm.
Right.
Okay,
Or just not at all.
no, not at all.
That's it.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jack, anything on the money?
Lee and I went over the budget today, everything looks really pretty good. I mean, we're just about to the end of our fiscal year. And, well, a couple of questions just to, you know, on our balance sheet, we haven't added the new lot yet.
Oh, I did.
Oh, we did do it?
I just don't. It's in the package.
Oh, okay. It's not in my own version.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, so that's done, so we'll just, was there one other thing we were going to add? You were gonna ask about common lots?
Well, yeah, yes, because when Jack was saying, shouldn't we add that as one of our fixed assets? I thought that made sense, and I went into my chart of accounts on QuickBooks and see that I have a designation for common lots. And I thought I would just add it there, because we have 46 undeveloped lots. And Jack felt like that might be a little, it's a different type of lot, it's not just a lot sitting out there that we never use. So I added a different account, and we didn't know what to call it. So I said, you said activity lot, and I said, how about community activity lot? I don't know, does anybody have any better ideas, first of all, I don't know.
For this lot.
Yeah, to try to define what that is. But then we talked about,
Cleanup lot,
pardon me?
the cleanups.
The cleanup lot, I
Yeah,
know.
the cleanup.
Well, and that's what happens over the
What
years.
were these unused, what were you calling
The
those?
association owns now 48 lots in total.
Okay,
That one and this one, and 46 undeveloped lots. And they've never been added to the fixed
Okay.
assets. So then the question came up,
Why
I
aren't
could
we
certainly
adding
add them,
all-
but what's
It
the
doesn't matter,
value
but-
of them?
What was that?
Just to tidy up the books.
Can these lots be sold? Or they're
No,
not?
no,
Okay.
because they're
They're
in green space. Those are
Okay.
the ones in green
Yeah.
space, and
Okay.
they'll be there in perpetuity, as they say.
So
But
what
what would be
is
the
the
value?
They have no value.
Not to speak of, so
So you
maybe.
can't sell them.
Yeah, you
so-
can't
As
sell
an
them.
asset, they have no value.
Yeah, they have no, they have no.
That's
It's
true.
sort of, I don't know.
So
It's a good-
it's not important to add them in.
Yeah, I don't think there's,
Okay.
Yeah, and then, of course, every year, the accountant, not devalues, there's a word for that, or depreciates.
Yeah.
So eventually, that'll just,
Well-
many years to come, that'll
Talk
just
about
go
the
off.
land.
I wonder.
What will happen to that
They
money?
amortize it down to zero.
So that'll go, it'll just be removed from
Gosh,
it,
I don't,
so it's
guess
no
so.
longer an asset?
I wonder if,
What
Man,
was
I don't
that?
like that either, I don't
I
think
mean-
that makes sense, so I don't know.
do we
I can
want, is
find
there
out
an
if you want me
advantage to
to.
call it an
If you
asset?
amortize something down to
Sorry.
zero, what happens?
To call what?
Is there an advantage for us to call something an asset versus not calling it an asset? Is there a tax liability if you call it an asset or?
Don't know, we don't pay taxes, so,
Oh,
No.
okay, oh, okay.
because we're a
Well, it'd only-
not-for-profit.
it'd only be on property tax, I don't know.
Well, that's true, yeah.
We-
We pay property tax.
Right,
So if
so-
it's an asset that we pay
But-
property tax regardless, right, because it's property that we have.
Yeah, and they don't reduce our property taxes based on the fact that this gets depreciated.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure there's some kind of an account that shows it, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm really surprised that the accountant just doesn't say, boom, boom, you just do this.
what do you
Yeah.
mean?
But I can get answers to those
There's a
questions.
process for it.
Yeah,
To do what? To-
For how we're gonna handle this land, amortizing, depreciating, or everything.
Well, he does it, and then he sends me a journal entry, and
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you're-
after the audit, I get some journal entries to make, usually 6 or 8.
Probably,
When you carry the fixed asset as the DPPOA office,
Mhm,
is that this whole,
mhm.
okay, so it's all this property?
Yes,
Well,
this law.
what would normally happen is at some point, or along the way, you would also appreciate a value.
Yeah, because the property does appreciate. You're
So-
right.
And you're carrying it
this isn't
73,000, which is,
This isn't green
No.
space, so it could be sold if for some
So
reason.
then I wonder, Mike, maybe you would answer this. As it depreciates, thank you,
yeah, it's a good point.
does the unrestricted net assets, does that appreciate under equity? It's on the back of the balance sheet because, get it longer.
Do our property
Is
taxes
that
go
what
up?
happens?
Do our property taxes go up as a result?
well, the county,
They just
they
go
set
up
on
whatever
assessment.
they're gonna
They-
go up.
yeah.
But I just wonder, as far as the net
Oh, I see.
assets go, no, unrestricted net assets, does that go up every time I depreciate this place? Do the unrestricted net assets increase? I mean, right, those are the
Well,
assets.
that's the question, is what is the accounting practice for appreciating
Well,
property?
first thing is it can be it's been years since I've really gotten into this stuff, but if I remember correctly, those numbers don't really mean a hell of a lot. You could have land showing as 2,000, like you're saying, it could be worth 100.
Right.
And that's a problem. I'm just not so sure if there's any correction or anything needs to be done for that. I'll ask somebody.
I don't either, I mean, it's,
Yeah, but they're clearly not, I mean, you gotta remember, these things were put in at historical costs. I mean, even the building. The
Right.
building could be, you buy the building for 20,000 or you depreciate it over how many years.
Yeah, obviously it's
25 or
worth
whatever.
more than 70.
And then by the time you're done, the thing's worth 100,000,
Right.
more than you even paid for it, so.
I'll look
Yeah.
at the journal entries, I do.
Yeah, I'm sure it's all there,
Because
there's
I just
contra
do
accounts,
them,
he's
and
probably got
exactly, and I don't
it
really
does. Maybe I should
pay a
just
lot
look
of
at-
attention as to exactly what other account that impact, or how it impacts it. So I'll look and see, maybe that is the other side of it on the journal entry.
We're gonna be audited soon, so
Yeah,
we can
I can
visit
ask
then,
too.
too.
No, you know, because I know when you, if you spend capital funds on improving property, that increases the value of the property. Now, what I don't know is, what about just normal inflation or value,
No,
market value? I don't know whether that enters into it.
no, except if you were trying to sell your business, I think that's.
Well, that's what, yeah, if
Goodwill
you're
or
selling it, or if you're trying to get a loan, they're gonna wanna know
Okay.
what your
What you
capital
got,
assets
Yeah,
are.
yeah, what you have there, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Right.
Well, and then one last thing on the profit and loss budget, which is actually, there's just some interesting things to note. We're at the end of our year, fiscal year, so we can pretty much see exactly where we're going to end. And just looking at legal fees, what a good idea it was to have got rid of the lawyer's fees, and we spent hardly anything on that budget line. But utilities, electric and oil, I thought we'd be mostly exempt from that, since it seemed to be mostly last year, but already we're over budget in those two line items.
And there's another
It's
bill
gonna
coming
get
in.
worse.
on oil.
Yeah, right, it's not gonna get better.
So, something to note. And everything else looked quite good.
I know at the yacht club, we're about, so far, there's only, it's actually 5 months of accounting data. We're already $2,800 over what we were last year in utilities, electric and gas,
For the whole year last year? Or
for this
year
time,
to date?
year to date.
Yeah, okay.
And that's a price increase, not usage.
So it's definitely gone up. And some of that may be in, usage, but we haven't had a bad year as far as usage, as far as.
Yeah.
It's not been that hot yet.
So most of it's in rates.
That's it.
Okay. How about the greenies?
Okay, the causeway is looking pretty good with respect to Phragmites. There are a couple of places I want to take pictures for Mark Smith. And down by the Surf Street, where the footbridge is, I don't see any there at all. And I did make it over to the beach, but I can do that tomorrow. And the only place I haven't gone is the Lake Terrace, because I suspect that's still our problem area, because we have only been
Yeah.
taking care of it. So it's looking very good, and I think depending on what what I see on Lake Terrace and what Mark Smith says, maybe we can skip this year. I mean, that's a possibility. And now, of course, we don't know, those chemicals prices have probably gone up too.
I
I don't know, so,
Plus his fuel costs
Yeah,
get down.
yeah. so that's all I got. But Jenny, do you have anything?
No?
Okay.
Oh, come on, I gotta point out the new invasive species.
Uh-oh.
The jumping worms.
Oh, come on.
I swear to God, they're taking
Last
over,
month it was jumping spiders.
they're
or
taking
something.
over Connecticut. That's what,
Are we
that's,
in Connecticut?
they're
They
spreading
might be
like
moving
crazy.
that, they might be-
Apparently they jump, they climb trees, and worms are usually good for soil. Well, when these guys show up, they do something, but they destroy the soil. Plants die, crops
Oh,
die.
lucky. Oh, lucky.
Does anybody like these guys?
Yeah.
They have no friends.
Little birds.
Bird even like them?
No, look, I'm not,
How do you get rid of them? That's the question. How do you get rid of
they
them?
were saying, if you see them, kill them.
Sure, if they don't kill you first. Yeah.
Well, they get
How
jumping.
big are these?
What do they look like? Do they look like
Are they
earthworms?
They look like
Yeah.
worms, but apparently they jump.
I can see a good old fashioned bee, horror movie coming out.
Oh, be well.
Maybe the jumping worms and the jumping spiders can.
Yeah, jumping
Maybe
each
have
other.
a battle.
Have it track me, the long jump.
Yeah.
Were you all talking about that avian flu?
I was last
Oh,
time.
Yeah, so I go home and I tell my wife about the Aryan flu, and she says,
Oh,
"Is
yeah.
it white birds destroying us or what?" I said, "What are you talking?" She's like, "Aryan flu? You mean like white birds?" And I said,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I think I got that wrong."
Yeah.
But yeah,
Is it
so we
still-
took down our feeder. Can we
It's-
put it back up now? Or are you
Yeah,
still
I mean,
not gonna have me do
it's
that?
still a thing, I think there are only some cases in
problem.
Maryland, but there is still a thing, but it's good to keep it clean, like you can clean it out with a little bit of a bleach solution and then put it back up, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course,
Okay, so it's okay to go for it.
don't forget the lantern beetles, you know.
Oh, yeah, the lantern flies.
Yeah, the
I don't
lantern
think it's like pervasive in this area, but it's in Maryland,
Yeah.
and it affects a lot of
I'm
different
going to
birds.
Connecticut. They only got worms.
And there was like a guy from Colorado ended up getting it, I mean, it has spread to
Oh,
a few,
really?
yeah, a few
Oh,
people.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So we get
but,
monkey spreading,
Yeah.
bird
Yeah.
spreading,
yeah.
yeah, and jumping worms, and
Yeah.
this is like the seven plagues all over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just had to report on it. Jumping worms.
Yeah.
Stifles. Okay. Anything else? That's it on,
We're not going to,
Okay.
either of us, we're done.
no more jumping anything?
No.
Maggie's not
That's
here,
Kelly's
so,
department,
okay.
she'll be in charge of
For
that.
Maggie.
On safety, Joe and I guess his son did get the chips changed out.
Oh, okay.
And I usually try to zip through them just to see if, well, mainly to see if we're getting decent pictures from the way it's aimed. Because, you know, sometimes if a bush gets down in front of it, it'll keep snapping pictures as the wind blows because it's motion detected. So I need to look at those yet, but we did change them, I think last year.
Okay. Okay, any updates on welcoming?
Yep, Cindy just brought by, I think 25 buckets.
Wow.
from Ace.
Wow.
So that should see us
Yeah.
well through the summer, I would
Yeah,
think.
I would think so.
Things are slowing a little bit in real estate. There's supplies back there for 8 buckets to be assembled. And, well, except I need to pick up brochures. I started to do that Friday at a concert they were setting up for the
Or for
concert.
Old Dominion.
Oh, I know, and it was, forget this, I'm not even gonna try to do it there. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow, and so then whenever you guys want to work out. So.
Okay. How many buckets do we have back there right now?
Well, there's 4 actually,
4 that we
ready
have
to go. So, they're all, yeah, it's
Yeah, okay.
ready, yeah. So I'm okay for a while. You
Yeah.
don't have to do it right away.
Yeah.
Should be good.
Good. Okay, how are we getting on? Any other unfinished business that anybody knows about? Okay, new business. I do have one little thing. I don't know if anybody's heard about it, well, Jenna may have, because of the club. But, there's a group that started called Friends of Mill Creek. And maybe you guys have heard about it. But they're basically partnered up with the American Chestnut Land Trust that I think Kurt Larson's been involved in over
Probably,
there.
yeah.
So it's the same sort of an outfit. It's trying to promote the care, you know, of the watershed, Mill Creek watershed, which includes all of our area, includes the Solomon's Harbor, Back Creek, everything that feeds into Mill Creek and then eventually out the Solomon's Harbor into the river. Right now, I think we're just kind of promoting stewardship and, you know, trying to come up with ideas on, you know, helping people take care of the watershed. So we may hear more about that. I would have, I know who's running it, Ted Haney, who's, he's involved in a lot of civic activities in Solomon's and stuff. He's running it. If you'd like to know, what we could do is, he's always happy to talk to people. And I could try to get him to the next meeting. Or even membership meeting.
Well, remember,
Oh, you've got something else
reminds me,
going on.
the Solomon's Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay, are there still
Is
planning on?
there,
Okay,
well, that's as far as I know, they're planning on, because there's they want to move the fire department into the center of Roseby. And he thought maybe next, you know, where that vacant area is next to Ace Hardware. So they're trying to get public input, so that's
Why are they doing this?
just to be more centrally located, I think, in the population areas. It makes sense.
Move the fire department, like a half mile up the road, is that what we're talking, something like that?
Something like that.
Okay.
I know, it doesn't seem.
Doesn't seem like much. yeah.
Well, they're probably
The other
making
guy's
it
got
so
a new
it's
building
easier
they
to
wanted to do.
access.
It's firehouse, Cindy.
Yeah, you do wonder, it's a half mile, maybe a mile, maybe a mile.
Well,
Maybe a mile,
But
yeah.
still,
I'm sure they'll improve the facility and everything, I mean,
Well, that's
it's not
true,
just
yeah.
moving it down the street. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's more to
And
it.
I suppose when your house is on fire, that one extra minute
Yeah, yeah.
could mean a lot, so.
Of course, it costs people in Solomon's in there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, you're
But
right.
I think though the idea is that the population area is more here.
Center probably.
CRA.
They should click it right in the middle, right over there.
Right, yeah.
But usually that doesn't,
That
things like
spot
that.
right there, in fact, be a great spot. You know, as you come in at Drum Point, that corner, just wait a
Sure.
couple houses out, and then they got that tower there,
There
that
you
could have been
go.
the fire department.
Make that suggestion, go big with it.
I already made it, it got rejected, I think it got laughed at inside.
I don't know why.
Mike, I would be interested in listening to the Friends of Ted Haney and Friends of Mill Creek and see what they have to say,
Okay.
if he can come out of the meeting.
Yeah.
That would be.
Well, I'll talk to Ted and see if he's available. I think our meeting would be on the 5th.
I think so.
So anyway, I'll do that. I mean, we'll just give them a little short, bit, we've got some brochures and then we can decide if something, what they're kind of looking for are basically organizations that could partner or sponsor stuff. And I know we listened to him at the yacht club and we decided that there was no harm in doing it. It's promoting upkeep of the environment around here, so.
So they have plans to do things that cost money and they're.
Well,
looking to
right
get
now,
some
nothing
funding.
involves money,
Okay.
at least from a
Volunteers.
standpoint of belonging to it, it doesn't cost any money.
But I mean, their objective, they have ideas of doing things that might, is that what you're
I think
getting
they've
at?
got ideas, but I don't think a lot of it's fleshed out. And if they did do something, it would probably, it's the kind of thing they would go after, like community donations or events, they could sponsor. But those are good questions to ask. It's just,
I think
Right.
they've had cleanup days and things like
well,
that.
that's the kind of thing they're kind of looking for, is cleanup days, maybe a combined type event like kayaking and cleanup or something, that type of thing, just to,
Draw attention to it, get people
there
involved.
might eventually, we don't have, we're not like the Chestnut Land Trust where they have trails and things they maintain. I don't think we would have that, but there might be other things. But if you're interested, I'll see if I can get him to come and,
Sure, yeah,
Give us
it'd
a
be
few
very
minutes.
interesting. Yeah.
okay. That's all I have.
This is Jen's last board meeting. I think that this is Jen's last board meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it your last board meeting?
Well, she's
Well,
been-
no, at the general membership.
No, well, the board meeting.
No, yes, it's my last one.
Oh.
Wait a minute, this is like the Hotel California.
Okay.
There you go, now. I heard like a half a year ago you were gone, you've been here.
Yeah, they know where I live.
Oh, yeah, I have your number on my phone.
On speed.
Well,
You need that.
Are you still doing buckets?
so we all owe Jen a lot of thanks
Yeah,
Still doing it.
yeah, okay.
for participating and volunteering and being here to help and getting wet, collecting trash.
Yes.
Keeping that husband of yours away from us, that was a big thing too.
Well, she and Ralph do a lot in the community,
Yeah.
between the two of them, and the club and the yacht club and this, and, they contribute a lot, so we appreciate that.
I think Jenna does it wrong, he just gets credit. Listen, I know the guy, okay?
He's doing a lot at the yacht club.
And we can, yes, and as soon as we have another vacancy, we can always make a re-up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's true.
That's all right.
I'm on,
You already have the
I'm on
paperwork, right?
temporary leave of
There you go.
absence.
Yeah, that's right.
I say we know where you live.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, Anything else?
Do we have to renew our officers of the board?
That, I just put it on July's agenda,
Yeah.
because that we need to do that, because last year, I think we did the officers in July, but we didn't, reaffirm the committees, we waited
That's right.
until the next month,
Okay.
because I didn't put it on the agenda, forgot all about it, so I thought of that, it's on there. But it's not until July, because we'll have, John Zaleski's fine. Susan
Oh, that's right,
Rourke will
Susan,
be the
yes.
board member,
Right.
so, you know, can't do it until
Okay.
July.
One more question, what about the agenda for the general membership meeting?
It's in the newsletter,
Oh,
it's on the back, it's, just, you know,
The biggest thing is the
the
budget.
budget, that's the most
That's
important
right.
thing.
That's what we have to.
And I think I have on there, the volunteer fire department
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
being there.
Mhm.
Other than that, hopefully there's nothing, because it's
Well,
already published.
I'll do an update on the beach project.
Right.
Just give a status basically of where we're at.
Okay.
All right, well, my calendar says the next meeting will be the 5th. Everybody good with that?
Yeah, this Tuesday.
Let me know if you can volunteer, because I need to let Bruce know.
Be happy for sure.
Well, I can, I mean, put me down.
You know, usually Eric and I are, well, you know, he's got his volunteer, that's what he got, I'm not.
I told Bruce that you're mine. You're not one of his volunteers,
Oh,
my volunteer.
Yeah, you're 5, yeah, we're usually serving the food, we had
Well,
some last time,
They
right?
can have Eric.
how many do you have?
I'll
Are you short
assume-
one?
He's got 30 of us.
Jack, I know you've got company that weekend, then, was it your
Yeah.
brother coming in?
I'll help if I can.
Okay.
Put me down, I guess.
That made fun?
Well, and if the food's like from 4 to 5, that makes
It
it
should-
simpler,
it-
because
it
then you
simplifies
go
it
in,
a
and
lot.
you do it, and then you're
Yeah,
done.
you got, right.
Yeah,
And we really only, if we're gonna do that, we don't really need one shift of cookers.
true,
Yeah, that's right.
and I'm not counting myself as a volunteer, but obviously.
You're
But
there.
I remember, do you remember
But I'm
last
here the whole
time though,
time.
we had twice as many people as we
Yeah.
expected,
Oh my
and then
goodness,
we
yeah.
ended up running out of like hot dog, and then we were like, someone
Well,
got
we
more stuff.
Really
and-
run out, but we held back giving seconds and thirds, and because
No, we
people
ran,
were still coming in. Oh no, we had
Yeah.
hot dogs in.
yeah, but we had like, I know there
but
were
potato
kids-
salad and all
kids
that kind of stuff.
that we're not getting.
Because it's hard to know if they're still coming
And you
in.
had.
Just get lousy
That's
food,
all
you
the
won't
actual
want
short
seconds.
wasn't it?
They
No,
don't.
it wasn't.
Mike,
No.
are you available that day?
But I think
We
it
still
was
talking
like
July-
finally
July
came to
2nd.
Yes, I am,
again.
I
Yeah, I
volunteer.
think-
I don't know how to cook, but I
Oh,
can do it,
yeah.
I can do it if I have to.
Yeah.
You tell me what to do.
It'll be the lousy food, and then they won't come back.
Exactly, yeah,
Well,
part of
we
that
had before,
plan.
and they had people, the gate checking people coming in, are we expecting another one of these?
I don't know. I think last year was, well, it was the highest
right after
attendance. It was
the-
after the
yeah.
main COVID
Right.
crunch.
Yeah,
And I think people were just anxious to get out and
Eager
do
to
something.
get out,
It was
yeah.
outside, so it was, you know, safe.
Did we do it on the 4th last year?
No, it was not on the
Oh,
4th.
okay, so
no.
we're not.
Third.
Okay,
It's like
okay.
third.
They don't
Yeah.
wanna do it on the 4th.
No, I know that, the thing, I don't know if that makes a
Complicates
difference.
it with the fireworks and then they
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
get rid of people off the pier. It's, you know, so,
I haven't actually double checked, but I'm assuming Solomon's is doing it on the 4th,
Yeah.
I would
not
imagine.
the 3rd or.
I would imagine, they always do it on
That's
the
a good
4th.
question,
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because it's a
Monday.
Saturday, like the July,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, I don't know.
2nd, we don't know.
I
yeah.
guess we could find that
Well,
out.
if you talk to Bruce,
I'll ask.
just mention that
Yeah,
he's having double check with the Solomon Civic.
Yeah, they were gonna have a meeting tonight and they got canceled at the last minute. Derek's like, yeah, I'm going to a meeting, and then it was canceled, so,
Yeah,
I don't
Bruce
know.
said,
yeah,
I guess they're gonna meet later in the week,
yeah.
and he's gonna let me know Monday, you know, more details,
Mhm.
timing and so on.
Are they still having a general meeting on Sunday?
I don't know.
Are you looking for other things to volunteer
Well,
for?
no,
You're
no,
getting,
no,
already
no,
getting
but
the
the-
feeling
no.
left
Is it
out?
Sunday?
No,
Yeah,
no.
I
Not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
know. Okay, yeah.
I thought I saw it was like June 24th or something like that, and I went, that's just Sunday.
According to this Facebook page, Save Solomon's Fireworks, it's gonna be on the 4th.
Okay, there you go.
Good,
Thank you.
good. Thank you for researching that.
That's great.
There you go.
That one says the fourth. Fourth, yeah. So the only thing that might change that would be if it was,
About the general meeting.
or if it was rain or something.
Yeah,
It
and then it would delay it.
wouldn't be early.
Yeah. The general
Okay.
meeting for the,
Thank you.